Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with the July 2023 channel update. This video is available for 1 week exclusively to members, or 1 week early before the general public. So if you're a channel member, thank you very much for your support. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, you can do so by clicking the join button below this video. Okay, so this is an update that I've kind of been putting off a little bit. First, let's recap what has gone on over the past few months on the channel, and then we'll talk about what's to come. So we covered The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and then we covered Final Fantasy 16. Admittedly, I didn't finish the guides for Final Fantasy 16, mostly because the game is incredibly easy. It's incredibly easy. It's not to say folks can't have a hard time with it. They certainly can, but at least on your first playthrough on normal difficulty, everything, you can kind of just tank it. You could just face roll it. You could just go through the game without much issue. If you need help on a particular boss, it's typically just one mechanic that you got to look out for or something, or you just got to change over to Garuda and use Rook's Gambit or something. I noticed all of my guides were sounding the exact same because I was employing the exact same strategy every single time. And so it just felt like a little unnecessary. Also, the thing is that the videos really weren't getting any views, and they have a couple hundred. I think one of them maybe at 300 or something, but a lot of them are below 100 or within the 1 to 200 range. And I've never done videos on this channel for views or anything, but it just was a little discouraging that I was spending so much time taking so many notes and trying to make so many videos, and it just wasn't doing anything. Like I said, the game it's easy. It's not a difficult game. It's fairly linear, as most Final Fantasy games are, and so it just didn't feel worth it to me. Tears of the Kingdom, to sort of go back to that a little bit, Tears of the Kingdom, I made, I think, 170 videos in 2.5 weeks. It was a lot of work. I think I might have mentioned this in the last channel update, but basically, I was assigned to a project at work for 3.5 months and that was pretty breakneck. And then I took a week off for Zelda, played Zelda, got as many videos out as possible, went back to work, started came back to a project that I had come off of to work the other one. That was sort of in the final stages, so I grinded on that for a while also working on Zelda, and then that project ended, took a couple days off, Final Fantasy 16 comes out. So for, I'd say pretty much the entire year between regular work and YouTube work, I have been going balls to the wall, and I am officially burnt out. This started to happen last year with Elden Ring, right around March or April. And I was able to stave it off by taking a bit of a break, especially moving out here. I didn't have my setup. I was kind of just forced to not work on anything. And I need to do that again. Unfortunately, this is coming at a really tough time. Meaning that two gigantic games, or one gigantic game and one gigantic game for me, are coming out within days of each other, within 1 day of each other. That is Armored Core 6 and Blasphemous 2. I've been talking about these games on this channel and on Twitter forever. At least Armored Core 6 for the last 6 or 7 months. Blasphemous 2 I've been waiting for since I finished Blasphemous 1. But I am going to be home in New York for basically the last half of August. I have to go out to New Jersey for work, and I got clearance to just stay in New York for a few weeks. I think it's 14 or 15 days or something like that. Basically, middle of August to September 1st, I'll be in New York. And I'm not taking anything with me, meaning I'm not going to take a PlayStation with me. I'll probably just play Street Fighter with a bunch of friends, maybe check out Armored Core at a friend's house, but I'm not going to be making any videos basically from now until September. At least current videos, current event style videos, for Armored Core, when a new game releases. I'm stumbling over my words a little bit, and that's just a product of me being tired, or a result of me being tired. I'm so tired lately. So it's unfortunate that I won't cover the next From Software game on this channel, at least right away, and I won't cover Blasphemous 2 on this channel, at least right away. I'm really hoping that by the time I get back from New York on September 1st or whatever, I'll feel energized and will feel excited about making videos for those games, because even though it'll be post-launch, for better or worse, From Software games are the highest performing videos on this channel. People know me for From Software games, and I'm happy to be known for From Software games. So I think I would still like to make Armored Core videos, even though it'll be like a couple weeks after release. I'm kind of okay with that, just to kind of round out the collection of videos on this channel. I want people to see me as a resource for these things, and I've just become known for From Software, which is fine. Blasphemous 2 is certainly, I'd say it's more of an indie title, but it is Blasphemous 1 was one of the greatest Metroidvanias I've ever played, one of the greatest 2D games I've ever played. It is a fantastic game on all fronts, from world to bosses to enemies to weapons and abilities to movement to mechanics to just pure art. Soundtrack, everything is fantastic in Blasphemous. If you have not played Blasphemous, it is available on literally everything for like $5 or $6. There's also a physical edition. There's actually 2 physical editions. One is from Limited Run Games. That one is quite expensive. However, I forget the other company that published the physical version, but that one's available like all the time everywhere for like maybe $12, $15. So it's available on every platform, physical and digital. Cannot recommend Blasphemous enough to you. It's very difficult, but very, very good. So yeah, like I've been looking forward to both of these games for a while, but I'm just not in a position mentally to like keep going at this pace. And because I'm going to be in New York, like I'm prioritizing staying with family. And like I noticed I started to kind of have a bit of a problem where like when I realized like, oh, like I'm going to work in August. Okay, Armored Core comes out in August. I'll be back for that. But then when I just decided to like stay with family, I just kind of stopped thinking about the dates. And then when I realized like, oh, the 25th, I'll be in New York. Shit. Do I like cut my trip short? And it's like, no. Like I haven't seen my family since Christmas. Like I haven't gone back to New York since. They're coming here in a couple weeks, to visit me. And then I'm going, just sort of like following them back. But like, I need to spend this time away from this to kind of recharge. And this sort of brings me into like the broader issue at play here. And I noticed this when I was doing Zelda videos for Tears of the Kingdom, and especially so when doing Final Fantasy videos. I have never focused on like the amount of views that my videos get. The only metric I've ever really like tried to grow is my subscriber base. And like I'm a guide maker. These channels don't garner a ton of subscribers, which is fine because the viewership is typically pretty high. It's just people don't subscribe, which is totally fine. I don't care. But it's just like a nice number. Like I would like to one day have a YouTube play button on the wall, and like I'm more than halfway there, so it'll happen one day. But I noticed when making Zelda videos, I was really focused on like the amount of money that I was making off of it. And part of that was just like, okay, I bought a new Switch OLED. I bought the collector's edition of the game. I want to make sure that I can at least recoup the cost of that. And like, this is both for like personal reasons of just like, I would like to have this game kind of pay for itself, but also for tax reasons is because like I got screwed on taxes this year, or, for the 2022 taxes. Like I owed a lot of money. It was like $14,000. Was able to pay it. I had saved up money to pay it, which is fine. But like I noticed myself getting more concerned with like the amount of money this channel is making. And when I started to worry about that, or started to pay attention more to that, more, I stopped really enjoying the game that I was playing and was focusing way more on, okay, what videos will be good, what's going to get a lot of views, and vis-a-vis more money. And I don't like that. That became especially apparent with Final Fantasy 16, where I was basically playing that game, enjoying it. I liked it a lot, but I was playing that game, and every time I would beat a boss and I would take the little timestamp notes and everything, I'd be like, man, like that's not going to get a lot of views. That boss is easy. Like, should I? It's not going to earn me any money. And it's just like I didn't like the way that was feeling. I was playing these games for YouTube, and I really don't like that I was doing that. And this came full circle a few days ago. I started replaying Breath of the Wild just because I hadn't played it since the DLC came out in 2017. It was like December 2017. And having played Tears of the Kingdom, like I really liked Tears of the Kingdom, but I was like, is this better than Breath of the Wild? And so I started playing Breath of the Wild again. And as I was playing it, I have forgotten like most of the shrines in that game. I definitely don't remember where everything is. Like I forgot enemies. I forgot little tricky mechanics in that game. Like I just forgot things. And it was nice to forget because that meant that I was discovering it again and felt like the first time. Or, when you remember it, you're like, oh, right. Or you discover new stuff. I discovered plenty of new stuff playing Breath of the Wild this time. But as I was playing it, I keep thinking about Tears of the Kingdom, and it made me realize, like, I don't really remember having a fantastic time with Tears of the Kingdom. And I think part of that is because I objectively do think Breath of the Wild is a better game. I think Tears of the Kingdom offers 1,000,001 quality of life changes, and they are all fantastic. But I think Breath of the Wild is just more interesting. I think the world is dangerous. The shrines are way more creative, challenge-wise. They really flex mechanics and like flex the strength of that game. Whereas Tears of the Kingdom, it just sort of felt like I was just going from shrine to shrine to shrine to shrine. But it's started to make me wonder, did I really get the best experience out of Tears of the Kingdom because I was making YouTube videos? Like because I had taken a week stretch off of work to work on YouTube specifically, did I kind of not ruin that experience because I really enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom, but like, did I alter the experience of that game for myself by focusing on YouTube rather than just kind of sitting in that game for extended periods of time and just getting lost in it and not having to worry about taking notes and doing things in a certain order and re-recording things, to get a clean set of footage? Like, have I altered the way that I played games? And I think in some respects, like, that's normal. Like, it's not a new phenomenon for me to like go back and re-record something or get certain camera angles while fighting certain bosses or just waiting for bosses to do abilities and me just like not doing anything or just blocking, kind of waiting for it so I could show people like, hey, here's how you deal with this move. Like, that's not a new thing. I've been doing that for years. But I think I was doing it so much in Tears of the Kingdom that I didn't enjoy it as much as I probably should have. And so I think with all that said, I think it's important that I take this break because games are a monumental part of my life. Like I work in the video game industry. Like it's my number one medium or art medium of choice. Like I just love video games so much, and I don't want to lose that kind of wondrous kid part of myself by playing games solely to like make videos and make money off it. Like I don't want to do that. So I need to take a break. And I actually think that when I come back from New York in early September, because Armored Core will have been out, I'll feel a lot less pressure to like get videos out quickly. I could probably just sit and play the game for a long time and then start making videos. And like Blasphemous 2 is an indie game. Like it's not going to be nearly as popular as anything else coming out at the time. Not to say it's not an important game. You should definitely play it and buy it and support those folks. But like it'll just be nice to be able to sort of like do it as more of a creative art project rather than something that's going to earn me money. And I think that's going to help me a lot. Now, the other thing too is, and this is more of a existential question that I've been asking myself, and the question is like, or not really, it's more of like a philosophical question. Like it's not like a hard question mark question. But I've talked forever about like I've always worked 2 careers. I've had a stable job that, would pay the bills or whatever, and then I would try to do something in gaming on the side, whether that was running my own tournaments, being a video editor for an esports production company, working where I work now at Riot, and like doing all that stuff. And then, or it was before Riot, I guess, but like I would always work those two things to kind of like stay engaged in the gaming industry while doing what I had to do to pay the bills. Now I work in the gaming industry and I still have this channel. And while I still do enjoy the work, because of all these sort of like feelings that I've been having about the work, it's making me wonder, like, do I want to continue doing this as hard as I'm doing it? And I don't know the answer to it. I don't. And I'm hoping that, like, after the break, I'll feel a bit better about it. But like, there have been days where I was like, I could probably just stop doing this. Like, I've got the dream job. Like, I could just stop doing this. Like, I achieved the dream. I'll find a new goal at some point, but like, I should just sit with this, enjoy it for now. I think where I will land most likely is like, I'll just cover a couple of games a year. Like, things that I think people would need help on, or maybe I'll just do like one-off guides. Cause like, as much as I love having compendium collections of like full walkthroughs and all that, it's like some of those videos get 20 views, like they're just there for posterity almost, but it is a lot of work to produce. And so maybe I'll just focus on stuff that it's like, oh, I thought that was hard, I'll make a video about it. I don't know. That's a much broader question. But yeah, I've sort of been putting off making this update just because it's not the greatest of news, and it does mean that I'm kind of going to disappear for like a month and a half. But it is much needed. I will say that. It really is much needed. And like, because I stopped making guides for Final Fantasy 16, I actually like have just gone and played games and just like enjoyed it. And like, I actually this book right here, this book has been on that nightstand back there since March. I was like 20, maybe 50 pages into it. Could never get through it. I finished it in like a week, like after like sitting down and reading it. And like the last day that I read, I think I read for like 6.5 hours. Like, I have not read a book in years. And it was just nice to kind of like do that and sit with myself and just not focus on work or anything and just like really relax. And I think I've just needed that for a long time and not really known it. So that's the update. I will post again, when I make a decision about Armored Core or Blasphemous. Like I said, I'll probably play it while I'm in New York. I'll play it at a friend's house or something, but I'll decide what I want to do. I did mention that like those would be like the relevant videos. I have had, a friend of mine told me one time, like, you should really like just like record content and then release it when you want to take breaks. And I think that's a very good idea. Something that I'm considering doing that with is Dark Souls 1 version 1.0. I think it was last year. Maybe it was early this year. I went back and played Dark Souls 2 version 1.0 on PS3. Basically uninstalled all the updates, all the patches, and it was the original base game as it was on March 14th or whatever, 2014, whatever day the game came out. And it was a really cool experience. Like, I enjoyed the experience. I didn't enjoy the game so much, but I was glad I did it. And at the end of that, I was like, oh, like the only game that I haven't technically played is Dark Souls 1 version 1.0. I played Dark Souls late, played Dark Souls 1 shortly before Dark Souls 2 was announced. And so I've never experienced that. Admittedly, I started recording it right after I finished Dark Souls 2 version 1.0, killed the gargoyles, and was like, okay, like, it's the same game. It's still extremely good. Do I need to go through this exercise? But I do think it'll be interesting, especially if I'm doing it from the lens of like, this isn't a walkthrough. Like, right? Like, no one's playing Dark Souls 1 1.0. No one's doing that. Crazy people are doing that. And so like, maybe I could treat it more as like a let's play, kind of just like check it out. But we'll see. I may record that and just put it out at, small intervals, but we'll see. So that's the update. I will say, like, if you are a channel member, and I will of course shout you out at the end of this video, but I will say, like, if you are a channel member and you feel like you're not getting your money's worth, or like, I never promise anything exclusive for members aside from these videos a week early. I don't pay all my content. It's supposed to help everybody. But, there are a bunch of you who give me money every month, which is really lovely. I really do appreciate it. Just pulling up the list here. But like, if you feel like me taking a month and a half break is going to be like, oh, why am I paying $5 a month and giving this dude $250 out of that? Like, he's not doing anything. Just end it. Like, it's fine. It doesn't break my heart. It doesn't hurt me. It's fine. I would completely understand if, you know, if a content creator I was a channel member of said, I'm going to take a break for 6 weeks, I probably would not leave my subscription up, or maybe I'd just forget about it. But I just want to say, like, I don't want to take that sort of funding for granted. People are paying me like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it's 12 people, 11 people are paying me at least $5 a month, and that's very generous of them. But like, I'm not going to upload anything for 6 weeks probably. So if you feel like you're going to be wasting your money, please cancel. It's fine. Okay. That's it. That's the update. I know I've said that's the update like 4 times. You can always follow me on Twitter. You can always join the Discord. I am very active in my Discord, and there's a whole bunch of folks chatting in there pretty much every day about games. So it's a great place to stay in touch with me. But yeah, I hope if you're watching this, you enjoy your summer. I hope when Armored Core comes out, you love it. I hope when Blasphemous 2 comes out, you love it. And I hope you're just loving whatever you're playing right now. Can't recommend Final Fantasy 16 or Tears of the Kingdom enough. They're both wonderful games. I also have reviews of both of those games up on this channel, so be sure to check those out. That's it. All right. As always, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. I will give my channel members a shout out. Shout out to John Aldrich with 38 months, Hector J. Estrada with 26 months, Joe Saunders with 25 months, Daniel Cockerill with 21 months, The Old One with 16 months, Brian Brubaker with 15 months, Bagdat Money with 12 months. Happy 1 year, Bagdat Money. X-Lightning84 with 4 months, Harv Fontanilla with 2 months, Logan Conrad Younger Remembered with 1 month, and Caroline Hewitt with 1 month as well. Thank you all so much for your support. That's it. All right. As always, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time, likely in early September or earlier with Dark Souls 1. Bye-bye.